Hey guys, welcome to this week's video. We are talking about acne scars. We're going to learn all about them, all the different treatments available for acne scars, so in terms of home treatments, cosmetic treatments, and we're going to be ranking them in order of best to worst, and we're going to be talking about when you should be seeking medical attention for it. So let's begin. So welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, welcome. We talk about everything medical and science here on the channel, and the great news is we always look at the research and evidence behind all the information we give, so you know you can trust all the information because it's scientifically backed. Also, please remember, if you watch today's video and you think to yourself, that was really interesting, I learned something new there, please do not forget to click that like button and leave a comment maybe, because it's going to make me feel good and it's going to help the video grow to a much larger audience so it can help more and more people around the world. Lastly, please do remember this entire video will be chaptered in the description below, so if at any point you want to find a specific piece of information, feel free to click on that chapter and go to it. However, as I always say, please make sure to watch the entire video because that's going to make you a bit of a pro on this topic. Now, let's begin. Okay, so let's start with the basics. First of all, what causes acne scarring? Well, acne is a very common skin condition, and it's believed that up to 95% of people here in Western industrialized countries will suffer from it at some point within their lifetime. Now, the main symptoms of acne we all know very well, and this can range from little spots to like blackheads to whiteheads to larger ones such as nodules and cysts, okay? And these can appear really anywhere on the body, from the face to the neck to the chest to the back. They're the most common areas. And sometimes once it even recovers, once it heals, it might leave some pigmentation, it might leave some scarring, even if you haven't squeezed them or popped them. Now, if you have popped them and squeezed them, it obviously puts you at a much higher risk of scarring, especially when the acne is larger, such as the nodules and cyst type acne is much more likely to cause the scarring. Now, the type of scarring that you get left over from acne really depends on the severity of your acne and also how your skin reacts and how your skin heals, okay? There's different types of scarring, and the different types of scarring require different types of treatment, okay? The most minor type of scarring is known as pigmentation. We then work our way up to more severe scarring, such as ice pick scarring, raised bundles, and a buildup of collagen type scarring. These are the different types of scarring. I'm not going to go into loads of detail on what these are, but I will leave information about them in the description below if you want to read up more about it. This is already going to be quite a long video and it's going to be full of treatment, so I don't want to waste too much time going into the details about different types of scarring. But remember, different types of scarring need different types of treatment, and that's the way that I'm going to break it down now when we run through those treatments. Okay, so let's begin with pigmentation scarring, okay, and what you can do about it. So pigmentation scarring is the most minor type of acne scarring. It's after your acne is recovered. It leaves a little bit of discoloration on the skin, really. It can be pink, purple, brown, white. It can just be a different color. The good news is this type of scarring is not usually permanent, and it usually goes away after a couple of months. In fact, I have a bit of pigmentation scarring going on at the moment because I had a bit of an acne breakout a couple of months ago, okay? So now let's talk about the pigmentation scarring and what you can do about it. Okay, so the first thing you need to do when it comes to pigmentation scarring, okay, is you need to give it a little bit of time, okay? I know you want a quick fix, but this needs a little bit of time for that recycling process of the skin to happen and for that scarring to fade away. However, to aid this process, you need to be wearing a sunscreen. You need to be wearing a sunscreen to prevent that pigmentation from getting worse. So make sure you choose an oil-free sunscreen and try to avoid staying out in direct sunlight when the sun is at its strongest, which here in the UK is usually between 11 AM to 3 PM. For more information on the best sunscreens to use with acne, I'll leave a really useful link in the description below. I also do have a video on the best sunscreens, so make sure to watch that as well. Now, if you are finding this pigmentation particularly bothersome and you want to try some treatment for it, by the way, I'm going to get up now and move about because I get a bit tired sitting down and filming. If you want to try some other types of treatments for it, for example, azelaic acid is really good for it, which you can get in a cream form, and hydroquinone is also quite good for it as well. These are both available as creams, but please remember they can leave the skin a little sensitive. They can leave a bit of a burning sensation sometimes as well. So it's particularly important to always speak to a healthcare professional before trying any of these products. Now, if you have spoke to a healthcare professional and they've given you the thumbs up for any of these creams, azelaic acid is probably my favorite out of the two, because not only is it good for helping with pigmentation, but it also has antibacterial properties, so it's also going to help reduce your potential acne breakouts as well. So it's good in both ways. That reducing pigmentation and reducing the chance of getting more and more acne. Now please remember, I don't want this to put you off hydroquinone because it's also very, very good at helping with the pigmentation. The only difference is, however, that hydroquinone is not going to help with acne breakouts, so it's not going to reduce that, okay? But there's been some studies that show that hydroquinone is actually really, really good at reducing the pigmentation and actually has reduced pigmentation completely within 3 months. So that is actually very, very good science. So that's a little done about treatments, okay? And we know a bit about treatments now, but what about different types of acne scarring? Also, what about different treatments that we can try at home, that we can buy from the supermarkets, chemists, shops, wherever, that are gonna help? What doesn't help? So, let's work through them, see what actually works and what I recommend as the best things and what probably aren't as good. Let's go through. Okay, so tip number 1, the first thing that I would recommend for acne scarring, okay, that you can purchase and use at home is plant oils. And by plant oils, I don't mean your normal cooking oil that you use, definitely not that. These are blends of different types of plant oils that are specifically to be used on the skin. Now there are quite a few famous brands that include ingredients such as lavender, rosemary, chamomile and mineral oil, and all claim to reduce scarring. Now the good news is that there have been quite a few large number of studies that actually support these claims. Now in terms of the science behind these plant oils, in terms of how they actually work, it's not completely understood yet. There's a few theories out there. One of them is that it helps rehydrate the skin, and the other theory is, which is probably my preferred theory, is it helps elasticate the skin as well, again, okay? So it helps to re-elasticate it, that's probably a better word to use, because when we get acne scars, that elastication is kind of broken a little. So the best way to think of it is, if you've blown a balloon up, let's say, and you've left it blown for a couple of days, and then you let all the air out, it never really goes back to that same shape that it was initially when you first bought it. And that's because that elastication has gone a little, okay? So by helping to re-elasticate the skin, it's helping it to bunch back and help with the scarring. So that's a bit of a theory behind it. And there's some studies that are really, really good about these oils. One study in particular, if I remember correctly, I think 84% of people in the study reported an improvement to their acne scars, and 90% of them actually reported an improvement in the color of the skin, so reduced pigmentation that we were speaking about earlier. Now please remember, you can use these plant oils for all types of acne scarring except for raised acne scarring known as hypertrophic scarring, okay? It doesn't really help for this. Also remember that with the plant oils, they don't help with the treatment of acne. So if you have quite active acne that keeps flaring up, these oils aren't going to help with that, okay? If you've had acne in the past and you've been left with scars, that's probably when these plant oils are best to be used. But if you have active scarring, we're going to go through some other stuff as well. I really can't speak today. Okay, so moving on to treatment number 2. Treatment number 2 is what we call mild exfoliating acids, okay? These include things like lactic acid, alpha hydroxy acid, and the one that you probably all heard of, salicylic acid, okay? These are all very effective at helping with acne scarring, and they're usually applied to the face, probably using a cotton wool pad and rubbing it on the area. Okay, so these mild skin safe acids that we like to call them, again I'm going to get up because it gets a bit tiring sitting down. So these mild skin safe acids, the way that they work, they help to break down the top layer of the skin. So what does that do? Well, it gives it a better appearance because we're getting rid of that top layer. Remember, a lot of the top layer of the skin is dead. So by getting rid of it, it's going to help with the actual scarring. So it's going to help reduce the appearance of scarring. And not only that, so it's going to give us that smoother appearance basically, but there are also studies that show that it can actually help with acne as well. So if you're having a bit of acne breakouts as well, it's actually good for that as well, because it's also going to help unclog those pores, try and get rid of blackheads a little bit, so it helps with all of these sort of things as well. And the final bit of good news about these skin safe acids is that you can use them on all acne scars, so you can use them on every single type, including hypertrophic scarring as well, so you don't need to worry about that either. Now please do remember though, a word of caution, please remember these are acids. Now I know they are mild and safe to use on the skin, but they are going to cause some sensitivity of the skin. So first of all, please always speak to a healthcare professional before getting any of these and trying them. Second of all, always do a little patch test before using them properly, okay, just to make sure you don't have a reaction to them. And thirdly, make sure that if you are wearing them once it's dry, that you're putting a sunscreen on if you're going out during the day, okay, because it's going to make your skin a lot more reactive and sensitive to sunlight and UVA and UVB rays. So it's usually best to just use at night time, but if you do want to use them during the day, like let's say if the dosage or the instructions say you can use them twice a day, if you're going to be using them during the day as well, make sure you are putting that SPF on, okay? This is really important. And I have a video on it, which I did mention earlier. Again, it's going to be up here and in the description below if you want to learn more about that. Now moving on to treatment number 3. Treatment number 3 is probably my best treatment for acne scarring that you can use, and these are retinoids, okay? Retinoids are very, very powerful at helping with acne scarring, okay? Now here in the UK, and I'm sure it's like that in a lot of countries as well, some retinoids are prescription only, but you can also get some retinoids over the counter and also online from online chemists or wherever you like to buy them from. So there are different types of retinoids available. Now please remember, retinoids are not suitable for children under the age of 12. However, some of them are suitable for children younger than the age of 16 as well, so always check that. Secondly, please remember, if you are getting pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, or if you're trying to get pregnant, anything like this, retinoids are not suitable. So again, that's another important thing to remember. And thirdly, please also remember that retinoids can make your skin very sensitive to the sun, okay? So these are some of the reasons why in a lot of countries, like here in the UK as well, a lot of the strong retinoids especially are prescription only. Now, as I mentioned, you can get weaker products in the shops with ingredients like retinol, for example. As it's weaker, you may not get as striking results, but on the flip side, it's something that you can easily access and buy. But if you do think that your acne scarring is particularly bad and that you could benefit from retinoid treatment, please speak to your healthcare professional to find out if they're suitable for you. Treatment usually involves a 6 to 12 week course and can help the ice pick, the boxcar, the rolling scars, and many different types of pigmentation as well. Okay, so that's all the different types of home treatments that you can use, all of the ones that have scientific evidence supporting them that actually work, okay? But the next thing I want to discuss is the different types of cosmetic treatments that are available. If, let's say, these home treatments aren't helping enough, or you're still not happy with how your skin is looking, but please do remember, acne scarring is very normal. 95% of the world get acne, so everyone has some form of scarring, okay? And this is very, very normal. I know on social media and on, magazines and in the media and all this sort of stuff, everything is all about looking flawless and having this flawless skin, but this isn't real, and we all know this. We all know people and what their skin is like, okay? So please don't fall for all the stuff that we see out there with this flawless looking skin, because it's not natural, it's not normal. Everyone, 95% of people get acne, and it's very normal for us to have some form of scarring, okay? But please also remember, there are things that you can try, and we've discussed them in the video. But if you're still not happy with the results and you might have particularly bad scarring, here's some of the cosmetic treatment. Okay, so let's work through the different types of cosmetic treatments, okay? Treatment number 1 is called dermabrasion. And dermabrasion is where they're getting rid of the outer layer of the skin to help with the acne scarring. It's quite an old treatment, it's been out for a long time, but that's in a nutshell how it works. Now, when dermabrasion is performed, there is usually some anesthetics involved, so you don't feel it as much because it can be quite painful, and it can usually last between a few minutes to several hours, okay, depending on the severity and how much of the dermabrasion they actually want to do. It can be really good for boxcar scarring as well as rolling scarring as well. However, it does increase your risk as well of bacterial and viral infections as well of the skin, and it can take quite a few months for it to recover. Now, moving on to cosmetic treatment number 2. Cosmetic treatment number 2 is laser treatment, okay? There's 2 types of laser treatment, ablative and non-ablative. Ablative goes through into deeper skin layers, non-ablative, less deep layers. Therefore, the ablative one is usually better at reducing the appearance of acne scarring. Now, the advantages that both types of laser treatment have over dermabrasion includes that it takes less time to heal, is less likely the need for anesthetics to be used, and the fact that it can be used for more types of acne scarring, such as ice pick scarring as well. Now, a big disadvantage though is that it can leave pigmentation scars, especially in those with tanned or darker skin tones. Now, moving on to the final cosmetic treatment, treatment number 3, which is all about microneedling, which is probably my favorite form of cosmetic treatment for acne scarring. The way this works is you've got tiny microneedles that are punctured into the skin, which causes the release of collagen and elastin into the area, which helps firm up that skin, okay? So it's trying to refix that skin, refix the structure of the skin internally. Now, the reason that this is one of my favorite types of cosmetic treatment for acne scarring compared to the other 2 as well is, although it's a relatively new treatment, it's also relatively painless as well. Recovery time is a couple of days, and it's probably one of the safest cosmetic procedures that you can do for your skin for acne scarring. Now, some of the disadvantages of microneedling: firstly, it's not as effective on ice pick scarring. It also can take several months for you to actually start to see results. And lastly, it can sometimes cause papules from the actual microneedling process. So as you can see, there are many different treatments that you can try. There's definitely prescription medicines that you can try, there's stuff that you can try over the counter, and there's the cosmetic procedures as well. But please do remember, if you are struggling with scarring at all, always speak to your healthcare professional. That is the most important thing, okay? They can speak to you, they can take a history, they can examine your skin and make sure that they're giving you the best sort of treatment, okay? So speaking to your healthcare professional is a definite must if you're suffering with acne scarring. Also, please remember as well, if the acne scarring is affecting you, it's affecting your mood, it's affecting your daily activities at all, anything like that, again, speak to your healthcare professional. They are there to help you, okay? So please, the most important take-home message is, if you have acne scarring and you're worried about it and you're not happy about it and you're feeling self-conscious about it, speak to your healthcare professional. That is the most important thing, because your health is the most important thing. So it looks like we are coming to the end of this week's video, and I'm standing up again to do the ending of this video. I really do hope that you find this information helpful. Like I said, we've looked at the evidence and I've given you the most evidence, scientific supported information that helps with acne scarring, okay? So I really hope you find this information helpful. You're now a bit of a pro when it comes to acne scarring. Obviously, you know the basics, that you need to get your acne treated as well with other treatments as well. This was mainly looking at scarring and what you can do, but please, I'm going to say this, but you already probably know it, but don't pick on those spots. If you've got acne, if you pick on them, it's just going to put you at a much higher chance of getting the scarring as well, okay? But I really hope you find this information helpful. Also, please let us know what treatments work for you. I would love to read it in the comments as well, so please do leave a comment below, and I'm sure people watching this video would love to read it too. As I always say at the end of every single week's video, please always remember that you're awesome, and I will see you next week. Hey guys, thanks for watching this week's video. Make sure to click that like, follow or subscribe button now to stay up to date with new weekly videos.